All right. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Conscious Leadership. This is Wednesday, February 6th, 2019, and this is call 4 already, believe it or not. So here we go. Is this call 4? It is call 4. Wow. All right. So, embracing ease, joy, and glory. What would it be like to have all of life come to you with ease and joy and glory? Having a life of ease, joy, and glory starts with embracing ease, joy, and glory where leaders are, and beginning to acknowledge the magic that they create. Glory is an exuberant expression of life and abundance in all things. What is abundance in all things? Abundance in all things is the understanding and reality that we are connected to each and every being upon this plane, to each molecule upon this plane, and that every one of them is in support of us and the energy and power that we are. If leaders function as anything less than that, they are just choosing to be lesser than whom they can possibly be. This insight is also confirmed by the findings of quantum physics. At the heart of quantum physics is a discovery that everything is connected, that things exist through their relationships. Every component of a system has the potential to affect, where was I? Gosh, I just lost it. Has the potential to affect all the other components. Leaders cannot move without influencing everything in their universe. Leaders cannot even observe anything without changing the object and themselves. A key step in allowing all of life to come to leaders with ease and joy and glory is to celebrate themselves from where they are, and having a gratitude for the rightness of themselves in this moment. Gratitude is a way of celebrating the rightness of whatever is in leaders' lives, and creating more space for infinite possibilities to come their way. If leaders are not constantly expressing gratitude for what they have, they will stop that flow. Leaders should do anything and everything in their power to celebrate their new uniqueness and increase their bliss and joyfulness. I will repeat that. Leaders, hear me now. Leaders should do anything and everything in their power to celebrate their uniqueness and increase their bliss and joyfulness. It is all choice. Leaders are unlimited beings, and as such, they have the power to create the reality they want, no matter how miserable a life they are currently living. Leaders have created their world exactly as their thought patterns are. Rather than focusing all of their attention on the wrongness of them and their life, leaders should simply find ways to celebrate themselves. There is a tendency to go, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with this? If leaders focus on what's wrong with them or what's wrong with their life, they contract their awareness and become limited. Instead, leaders can ask, what's right about me that I'm not getting? Or what is it that I'm not getting about this? If leaders ask these questions, they will start to perceive and get the answer. The question, what is it that I'm not getting about this, will allow leaders to see the rightness of things rather than the wrongness of things. In order to have ease, joy, and glory in their life, leaders must be willing to have ease, joy, and glory in their life. Leaders need to reflect on, are they willing to allow all of life to come to them with ease, joy, and glory? Are they choosing to live their life from the point of view of celebration every day? Are they willing to let go of trauma and drama? Ease, joy, and glory is only a matter of choice. Ease, joy, and glory are our birthright. However, most people don't choose to have them because they are addicted to polarity, to trauma, to drama. Does ease and joy and glory mean that you will have only good things happen? Does it? Does it? No. What it means is, no matter what happens, it will come with ease and joy and glory. So even that which is bad will not be terrible. Even that which you find difficult will be greater in ease. And so it is that you will shift and change the world. So whenever leaders use all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, they are setting in motion that all the good things and all the bad things will be easier and more joyful and glorious. All of the circumstances in leaders' lives will start to get easier, regardless of the leader's consideration and assessment of them. Creating life as a celebration starts with the willingness to claim, own, and acknowledge that life is an abundance of everything. Life is an abundance of joy, abundance of ease, and abundance of possibilities. The key to claiming, owning, and acknowledging is to become aware of any area of a leader's life that they believe doesn't work the way they would like it to. This can include the usual stuff people often have challenges with. Oh, do we have a question? Cheryl's unmuted. Oh, Cheryl's muted herself. I heard her say oops. Okay. Where was I there? The key to claiming, owning, and acknowledging is to become aware of any area of a leader's life that they believe doesn't work the way they would like it to. This can include the usual stuff people often have challenges, trials, and tribulations with, such as not being happy and joyful, not being willing to go for what they know they are capable of, relationship problems, financial problems, not enjoying their life, not feeling fulfilled in life, etc. Leaders can use all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory to facilitate the shift of energy to allow the areas of their life that they are not delighted with to flow with ease and joy and glory. Okay? It can be helpful to apply this to work, relationships, family, health, sports, financial situations, etc. This mantra can also help shift moods that leaders do not particularly like by repeating it until the mood shifts. The mantra will release. This mantra will release, I lost my spot again, will release the attachment and the energy of judgment that leaders have on the point of view and free them from it and begin the process of allowing leaders to change their life. This is not the same as doing the traditional visualization routine or routine habitual affirmation practices. It is not about pretending to be something that leaders are not or attempting to reprogram their mind for creating things in the material world. What leaders are doing with this mantra, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory, is inviting the universe to provide them with exactly what they have asked for, which is a life of ease and joy and glory. If leaders take a few minutes a day to focus on this mantra, they can shift their consciousness. The mantra will facilitate leaders to become more aware of those areas of their life that they do have abundance with, but have not been willing to claim, own, and acknowledge. When leaders are able to focus, they can access their knowing and power, that they can have ease, joy, and glory, and they can allow it to be present in their life. Little gray box time. Key points. Gratitude is a way of celebrating the rightness of whatever is in a leader's life and creating more space for infinite possibilities to come their way. Creating life as a celebration starts with the willingness to claim, own, and acknowledge that life is an abundance of everything. Life is an abundance of joy, abundance of ease, and abundance of possibilities. By using the Access mantra, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, leaders are indicating to the universe that they aspire to have all of life come to them with ease and joy and glory. Hi, Sylvia. Nice to see you. All right. So, letting go of form, structure, and significance. Form, structure, and significance are the default map, the control system, and the repetitive and automatic programming that most unconscious and anti-conscious people function from. Excuse me for just 1 second. Okay. They have a fixed and limited view of reality based on past reference points for future projections and expectations. Traditional organizational leadership tends to operate based on form, structure, and significance, since these leaders require a feeling of certainty and predictability, which, form and structure provides. That makes this significant when this form and structure is not they make this significant when this form and structure is not available. Conscious leadership, on the other hand, is inclined to thrive on uncertainty without form, structure, and significance. The key difference between traditional leaders and conscious leaders is that traditional leaders will seek to establish limits, whereas conscious leaders will look beyond them. Form, structure, and significance creates commitments, infinite limitations, liabilities, and obligations in leaders' lives. It allows no choice. It keeps life at arm's length. And if leaders continue to live and function based on form, structure, and significance, they will never be able to express themselves to the fullest. What would it be like to live life from a sense of adventure and not from having a default map? For leaders to expand their awareness and get out of mass density vibration levels, it is vital to let go of all form, structure, and significance, and to be in a constant state of creating themselves new, moment to moment, instead of maintaining their identity. What this means is to no longer live by the rules of this reality, but to live at the creative edge of this reality, to be open to life in such a way that celebration becomes their natural state of being. No form, no structure, and no significance allows leaders to see life as an extraordinary adventure, to experience life in a serendipitous state, and to create themselves new in every moment. It is about being indefinable and not creating their life based on identity, definition, or past reference points. Every identity and definition is a limitation. Anything leaders value most in this reality becomes a trap, which is a limitation for them. When leaders create from an identity, they create from a limited point of view. Since each identity is a limitation of the infinite beingness that is the truth of us. Limitation is self-imposed. Many leaders who follow the traditional, I'm on page 67 for those of you who are on the book version. Do you have your spot, Sylvia? You're good? Okay, cool. When leaders create from an identity, they create from a limited point of view. Since each identity is a limitation of infinite beingness, that is the truth of us. Oh man, this is clearing some shit. This is not easy, but we're getting somewhere. Wow. Okay, so limitation is self-imposed. Many leaders who follow the traditional leadership paradigm are convinced that they must have form and structure to ensure the business is focused on doing things in a consistent and predictable manner throughout the organization. This form and structure becomes totally significant when large parts of the work processes and procedures are created just to keep this form and structure in place. These leaders become more concerned about the form and structure being the only right way of doing things. They allow it to rule over them and the organization. They make form and structure greater than them. When form and structure become so significant to the organization, it ensnares leaders to a belief that their way is the only way, and they concentrate all their energy on proving that they are right. The mere fact that these leaders believe in the concept of a right way is an expression of their limited perspective. On the contrary, conscious leaders recognize that there is no right way and no wrong way, just ways, just different points of view. Holy moly. Leaders hold themselves captive by what they have made significant in their life. Whatever leaders give form, structure, and significance to owns them. When leaders make anything of significance, they allow it to have power over them. No form, no structure, and no significance allows leaders to see life as an exciting adventure that they can explore enthusiastically, and deeply. To function in the present moment, leaders must choose to let go of form, structure, and significance, and aim to function as if the past never existed and the future is not pertinent. Each morning, leaders can choose to say to themselves, "Who am I today, and what grand and glorious adventures will I be having on this day?" This is a great way to consciously start the day. Form, structure, and significance drives leaders' thoughts and beliefs, and most importantly, their choice, which most often is not a choice, but hidden forces that shape their realities. Unconscious leaders who function based on form, structure, and significance tend to have fixed rules and unrealistic expectations. They regularly use the word should, ought, must, or can't. This leads to unnecessary frustration and disappointment. I love this. I mean, she is just taking things that are just normal, common procedure and being like, a leader would never do this. A leader would never do this. A leader would never do this. It's just awesome. Man, these guys are great. I keep saying she. I mean, I guess Steve wrote this book too, and I can see the parts he wrote, but I just keep thinking of Chutisa as I'm reading it. I hear her talking to me, reading it out loud as I'm saying it. This is so cool. Okay. It's great. Like, I mean, for those of us who are really willing to buckle down, there's so much hidden magic, and most people just wouldn't, you know? Most people just go, the words are too big, or it's like formal language and talk, and it's like, no, this is fabulous. So many gold mines, and totally different gold mines than you get anywhere else in Access. It's just great. With form, structure, and significance in place, leaders are linearizing their reality, so they have no choice. They are looking to every negative reference point in their lives to determine what they do and don't do. It totally denies their knowing. In general, excuse me, unconscious or anti-conscious leaders function for the most part based on form, structure, and significance in order to have predictability, stability, constancy, and safety in their lives. Attachment to form, structure, and significance is one of the most restricting obstacles that confront leaders as they aim to expand their intensity of infiniteness. It is the leader's own withdrawal from awareness, their own mass conditioning, which makes them unable to function in perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving. The most vital thing leaders can do is to become fully aware of the form and structure and significance that they have been conferring with. This will give leaders an idea about how they have been creating their lives. Teresa, let's do a Home of Infinite Possibilities book club. That would be fun. I just love doing this. I just could read all day. It's just, I really enjoy myself. Okay. More fun for me. And then all of you people have to come along for the ride, and it's terrible. This will give leaders an awareness about how they have been creating their lives. Without this awareness, it's easy to fall prey to these issues in the manner they dictate the leader's habitual behavior. No, I didn't say that right. Without this awareness, it's easy to fall prey to these issues and the manner they dictate leaders' habitual behaviors. How many reference points? So we have little bullet points. So now we'll do some little bullet points. How many reference points do you have to hold you back? What are the defined limitations of your life? To what extent are you and your business operating according to outmoded practices, policies, and systems? How much form, structure, and significance have you aligned and agreed with that stops you from expanding your awareness? What limiting belief do you function from in life what limiting beliefs do you function from in life that are creating your reality? How many systems and structures used in your life and your organization exist because they've always been done that way? Silly. That's dumb. We want to destroy and uncreate our business every day. So each of you, will you destroy and uncreate your business today? Times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good, bad, all 9 pod poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. All right. And will you destroy and uncreate your everything you know about business and everything you've decided you know about business? Times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, all 9 pod and poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. All right. Form, structure, and significance drives leaders' thoughts and beliefs, and most importantly, their choice, which most often is not a choice, but hidden forces that shape their realities. Unconscious leaders who function based on form, structure, and significance tend to have fixed rules and unrealistic expectations. They regularly... Wait, I totally already read that. Sorry, guys. I totally started at the top of the page. It's bullet point time.
I didn't even notice.
Okay. I finished the bullet points, in fact. Now we have to go to stop making it anything significant. Poof, I'm fried out, guys. This is awesome. Okay, stop making anything significant. When leaders make anything significant, in particular their thoughts, feelings, and emotions, they have made it solidity. They allow it to have power over them. They make these thoughts, feelings, and emotions greater than them. All right? So everywhere you guys are making your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions greater than you, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys and beyonds. Everywhere you're making money greater than you, will you destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys and beyonds. If you decide you can't do something because you don't have the money, you've made money greater than you. Rather than going, what the heck is it going to take to create this regardless? Okay? And how many of you have decided that business is above and beyond you? And everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy it and create it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. All right. All thoughts, feelings, and emotions are only energy. They have no real significance unless leaders make it so. It is, I love, because a lot of these lines are the exact lines from the How to Become Money workbook, but they're for leaders, which is awesome. It's actually, the way she's writing is actually like this wonderful manipulation. Because it's not saying you should do this. She's like, a leader would. A leader would. A leader would. A leader would. And it makes people reach and go, well, I want to be a leader. She's not saying you can be a leader. If she'd say you can be a leader, it would be dismissed. But she's saying a leader would do this. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And Steve. I love Steve. Sorry, Steve, if you're watching this. You guys are amazing. All right. It is essential to keep the thoughts, feelings, and emotions as energy flow. Leaders can create the energy flow by asking the question, what am I making significant here? What is the value of holding on to it? Anything that we make significant, anything that we perceive greater than us, limits us. When we buy the significance of our thoughts, feelings, emotions, when we buy the significance of our point of view, when we buy the significance of other people's points of view, each and every one of those creates reality and limitation. What it amounts to is that every time we make anything significant, we are buying and functioning from a mistaken belief and misapprehension. These prevent us from ever being able to truly be free in that area of our life. To let go of form, structure, and significance, leaders can choose to apply the access consciousness tool of lightness to anything they make significant. This will facilitate a shift of energy and a change in their consciousness and everybody around them. Every time leaders feel the energy of some consideration, idea, belief, or attitude becoming either significant, urgent, or imperative, they can feel where it hits them in their bodies. Money workbook! Feel the weight of it and turn it to light, and see it as only an interesting point of view. Little gray box time. Key points. When leaders have form, structure, and significance, judging that something is correct and right, then there is no room for something else to show up. To allow new possibilities to show up, leaders must destroy and uncreate what they currently have, which they believe is right. To destroy and uncreate the relationship with everyone you have been in contact with every day, so you can create your life new every day. So will you also destroy and create your relationship to your partner if you have one? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Magic happens when you stop being vested in the outcome. Willingness to step off the edge without prior knowledge of what is underneath it is the true freedom. Indeed, it is like living on quicksand to do consciousness. And that's the fun of it. It sounds scary at first, but it's actually the best part once you get going. Page 71, no fixed point of view. To be conscious is to be in a state of flexible awareness, an open mind. This state can be brought about by claiming and owning the freedom to have no fixed point of view about anything. Every point of view that leaders have created about anything creates the limitations and parameters from which they receive it. Cultivating a frame of mind of no fixed point of view will allow leaders to perceive beyond a fixed and limited view of reality. Knowing outside the content of thought and receiving the unlimited and infinite possibility of experience. Unconscious leaders who function based on a fixed point of view are conformist and predictable. These leaders have fixed ideas, and quite often they don't know that they can change their point of view. Unconscious leaders with a fixed point of view often say phrases such as, "Oh no, that's not the way it is." And they often focus their attention on the way something can't be done. The regularity of the refrains, "You can't do that, and this is not the way we do things around here," is indicative of unconscious leaders operating with a fixed point of view. Fixed point of view boxes leaders in and limits their potential. It limits how much they can receive. If leaders have a fixed point of view of anything, they automatically deny the infinite possibilities that there are better and more expansive things available. With a fixed point of view, leaders can't see anything that doesn't match their point of view. When opportunities present themselves in ways that do not match their views, leaders are not able to perceive and receive it, and often work against it or keep away from it totally. Once leaders have a fixed point of view, they then have a box of no self-limit. Then they have created a box to self-limit what is possible, and they and others have to align and agree or resist and react. Therein lies much stress and misunderstanding. Oh, indeed. How much of your life is just stress and misunderstanding? And everything that is, will you destroy it and create it all, times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, online, podpoc, shorts, boys, and beyond. A fixed point of view often spawns the right versus wrong paradigm, which creates separation and divides the organization and the people within it. A fixed point of view often gives rise to a fixation without proving that leaders are right, by confirming others to be wrong. How many of you have a fixation with proving that you're right by confirming others to be wrong? You naughty, naughty people. Everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and create it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, podpoc, shorts, boys, and beyond. And how many people and techies do you have in your life that have a fixation on proving that they're right by confirming you to be wrong? And everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and create it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, podpoc, shorts, boys, and beyond. Whenever leaders have an attachment to being right, they are usually inflicted with intolerance, antagonism, and narrow-mindedness. Each time leaders identify with their point of view, they have to make it right, and they automatically and unconsciously try to defend it against others. Holding on to a fixed point of view means that the majority of leaders' energy is spent defending this point of view. So who or what are you defending for or against that keeps you from being all of you? Everything that is times a godzillion will you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pod and poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Who or what are you defending for or against that keeps you from being and having all of you? Everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. When leaders try to defend a point of view, they have no freedom. The moment leaders defend anything, they are no longer free to choose. Leaders with fixed points of view often feel defensive and limited, not wanting to take any kind of risk. The degree to which either the leaders or organization are functioning from a fixed point of view is in direct proportion to their ability to innovate. Love it! Love it, love it, love it, love it. The more you have a fixed point of view, the more you want to defend your right, the more you need to be right, the less you can innovate, the less you can create. Consequently, the organization would be operating in a weak position, and organizational accomplishments would be hindered. By George, what good words. When leaders are making unconscious choices, they can be certain that they are making choices based on their fixed points of view. Unknowingly, they turn their lives over to their anti-conscious viewpoints. For example, if leaders have a fixed point of view that money is in short supply and that there is not enough to go around, they may find it impossible to obtain prosperity and money. If leaders have a fixed point of view about business strategy and misidentify the strategy as being an operational initiative, a tool for competing with the competitors, they will not be able to perceive how the strategy can establish a creative edge that will bring greater value to the organization. Do you guys get all that? Did you get any of it? Okay, Sylvia says yes. Teresa says no. Nilem says no. Sir Pill says no. Okay, let's do it again. We'll read this paragraph again. I'll break it down. When leaders are making unconscious choices, okay, so the leader. When leaders are making unconscious choices, they can be certain that they are making choices based on their fixed point of view. Okay, I'll say it again. When leaders are making unconscious choices, they can be certain that those choices are based on fixed points of view. Okay? They turn their lives, without knowing it, they turn their lives over to their anti-conscious viewpoint. So how often do you turn your life over to your anti-conscious viewpoint? 99% of the time? 80% of the time? Maybe if you're really, really conscious, 50% of the time? How much are you actually turning your life over to your unconscious and anti-conscious viewpoint? Maybe 20%. All right? Everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, plot, park, shorts, boys, and beyond. All right, next sentence. If leaders have a fixed point of view that money is in short supply and there's not enough to go around, they may find it impossible to obtain prosperity and money. So right now, get a sense of all the money in the world. How much money is there in the world? It's a lot, right? There's not really a limited supply. So for what reason would you not have a bunch of it? Okay? If leaders have a fixed point of view about business strategy, okay, so if you have a fixed point of view about your business strategy, and you misidentify the strategy as being an operational initiative. Okay, so if you misidentify your fixed business strategy as being an awesome thing to do, your operational initiative, your new initiative, to be a tool for competing with the competitors, which you don't want to do anyways, there's no competition, then the leader will not be able to perceive how the strategy can establish a creative edge that will bring greater value to the organization. Okay? Letting go of the fixed point of view. There are two ways to approach the process of letting go of a fixed point of view, and they both lead to the same result: claiming and owning your natural ability to let go of any fixed point of view on the spot and allow the energy to release. Release, dissipate, destroyed and uncreated. She's not saying destroyed and uncreated by release. She means destroyed and uncreated. The first way is by choosing to destroy and uncreate the fixed point of view. Okay, well, maybe she is saying destroy and uncreated. The second way is to make it infinite. Okay, so here's tool number one. The first way, choosing to destroy and uncreate. Identifying your limiting belief and your fixed point of view is a critical first step. Excuse me. Once you've identified what your fixed points of view are, you need to catch yourself in the act of having those fixed points of view and recognize them for what they are. You can repeat to yourself, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. This mantra will take out the attachment energy you have on the point of view and free you from it. Having brought your fixed point of view into your awareness, and now you can now choose to let it go by destroying and uncreating all of the attachments you have on it. You can also affirm to yourself that I am choosing to destroy and uncreate all of my fixed points of view or my judgment about blank. Okay? Not using the clearance statement here, but a very great option. The second way is making it infinite. Take whatever point of view you have about other people or situations and make it infinite. Excuse me. This can be done by first feeling the energy of this fixed point of view. Now reverse it and have it going the other direction, and expand it larger and keep expanding it to a size greater than the universe. When you make the point of view infinite, you are opening your consciousness, and this enables the point of view to drop away all by itself. It is as though you are removing the lid from a pressure cooker. Magnify the point of view to infiniteness. It would appear like empty space. If it is a lie, it disappears. If it is a truth, it becomes more substantial. Little gray box time. Key points. All points of view are just an interesting point of view. When you are willing to let go of a fixed point of view, things will show up. To let go of your fixed point of view, you have to be willing to be wrong. I will repeat. To let go of your fixed point of view, you have to be willing to be wrong. It is important to let go of defending your point of view of the need to be right. And I will give you this as a way to change your need to be right. If you would like to change your need to be right, this book is a great way to do it. Chapter 2, this book is called Projections, Expectations, Separations, Judgments, and Rejections by Gary Douglas. And Chapter 2 is called Giving Up the Need to Be Right. And you want to read that chapter. Teresa, maybe we need to also have a club where we just read this chapter over and over for like 3 or 4 calls. Okay? You have to give up the need to be right. Or you don't. Because that would make you right. All right. Right on. Right. It's right here. Let's start right now. We use the word right a lot. To let go of your fixed point of view, you have to be willing to be wrong. It's important to let go of defending your point of view of the need to be right. When you get upset or angry over a certain issue, you can be sure that you have a fixed point of view about that circumstance. You can ask, what fixed point of view am I making significant here? Leaders who have fixed points of view usually react to situations in a way that is often predictable, habitual, and automatic. Cultivating no fixed points of view allows the possibility of something even more expansive showing up in your life. Page 75. Willingness to receive everything without judgment. To have everything, you have to be willing to receive everything, willing to lose everything, and willing to give up everything. The first thing you need to give up is your limitation. Unlimited capacity to receive is the ability to have everything in life that conscious leaders fancy. Oh, fancy. What a good word. I'm sure Steve wrote that. Just kidding. Oh, man. Unlimited capacity to receive is the ability to have everything in life that conscious leaders fancy. Fancy, fancy, fancy. What do you fancy? Who am I today, and what fancies can I bring into my world? You guys know that song? Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, reminds me of that. In order to create any kind of limitation, leaders have to cut off their receiving. Snip, 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 snip. That's you cutting off your receiving with your scissors. Snip, 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 snip. Hello, Andrea. Nice to see you. Okay, so I'll repeat. In order to create any kind of limitation, leaders have to cut off their receiving. Snip, snip. It is only what leaders have decided they cannot receive that can limit what they have in life. Conscious leaders who are willing to receive everything and willing to lose everything develop their self-confidence to see through and to overcome the inevitable obstacles. When leaders practice willingness to receive everything, they enjoy and have the benefit of everything as it is. They have no need to alter or change anything. As leaders allow things to occur in their lives with no resistance, they will allow everything to come into their lives, which means they allow currency and money to come, they allow prosperity to come, they allow all of life to come to them with ease. Whatever is not working in leaders' lives and in their organizations, there's always something they're unwilling to receive that would allow it to work. This is because whatever leaders have a judgment of, they will not be able to receive. Willingness to receive everything without judgment involves letting go of all resistance to an energy, to thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It means to have no resistance, no rejection, no negation, and no refusal of any concept or relationship. This means no judgment in their mind and willingness to be aware fully of anything possible. Judgment generates irregular fear that can induce a destructive, toxic, and caustic state within leaders. When leaders generate judgment, they cannot perceive anything that doesn't match their judgment. The remedy for this is to be willing to receive everything, to experience life without mental resistance or judgment. Imperturbability. I didn't know that I knew you could be perturbed, but I didn't know imperturbability was a word. Imperturbability and freedom is the ultimate byproduct of a willingness to receive everything in life. This is the intrinsic state of being when leaders are not disturbed and cannot be troubled by anything that happens in their lives. It is necessary to recognize that willingness to receive everything does not mean leaders have to allow others to control them or have power over them. Leaders can still choose and keep going for what is appropriate for them in that 10-second increment without resistance. Every time leaders let go of the feeling of unwillingness to receive, they have more power with less exertion and greater emotional sovereignty and resilience. Consider this. If you could receive from everybody without judgment or without any point of view, what would that be like? If you could receive from everybody without judgment or without any point of view, what would that be like? Cool. And this is a different way of saying it than the way Gary says it in divorceless relationships. Because in divorceless relationships, he talks about being willing to receive from everyone. And he says you even have to be willing to have sex with your parents. So there, she's putting it in a very nice business format. So everything that brings up times a godzillion, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, all men, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. To be free from anxiety, fear, hatred, competitiveness, and other emotional upheavals, it is essential to cultivate the quality of willingness to receive everything without judgment. Emotional upheaval and turmoil is the insidious consequence of unwillingness to receive anything that leaders have judged to be wrong, bad, harmful, and unpleasant. Here are some examples of unconstructive situations, sentiments, viewpoints, and things that may initiate unwillingness to receive for leaders. Not wanting to deal with the crisis, resisting having, being, or doing something, fretting about how things ought to be done, predicting the future and mind reading, not wanting to make mistakes, overestimating the chances of failure and misfortune. That's a good one. Overestimating the chances of failure and misfortune. Things in leaders' life or business they don't like and want to change. Being stuck with a problem and feeling fearful of the consequences. When leaders are not willing to receive, they can be certain that they are creating their reality based on their assumptions and implanted fears. The foremost archetypal implanted fear is the fear of the unknown and unfamiliar. It can severely hinder leaders' ability to perceive, know, be, and receive. Unintentionally, leaders turn their lives over to their unconscious thoughts, feelings, and emotions. When leaders encounter undesired events, if they judge them and are not willing to receive them, they will contract their awareness and they will make the energy of the events or things solid and heavy. By judging and resisting them, leaders will make it significant and real, and they will be stuck with them. It is what leaders cannot receive or look at that gets them in trouble. Judgment creates resistance, which allows no choice. However, if leaders can remain calm and be willing to receive the undesired event without resisting or reacting, and be an allowance of themselves for disliking it, they will keep expanding their awareness. Resistance is a contraction of awareness. It prevents leaders from moving ahead in all areas of life, especially in the area of personal expansion and contentment. When leaders resist anything, they become dense and contracted. When leaders cannot receive, they will not be able to manage or deal with difficulties because they will not be aware of its presence. Whatever leaders are not willing to receive or perceive in their awareness, they will stumble over in their life. Well put. For example, if leaders are unwilling to receive being judged by other people, they may become overly concerned with other people's points of view. Leaders may become overly concerned with what people think of them. Unwilling to receive the judgment is quite insidious. It's one of the main things that stops people from having, doing, and being what they want in life. Are you willing to receive any judgment with ease? Are you willing to receive no matter what judgment may be directed at you? A key step for cultivating the quality of willingness to receive everything without judgment is the willingness to claim and own the capacity to receive, even though leaders have no idea what that really means. A simple ingredient for being willing to receive everything is to stop resisting and reacting to any interaction of anything or anyone. When leaders catch themselves resisting and reacting, they can ask the question, excuse me. Just so you know, I did get sleep last night, but if you're new to Access, when I yawn, it means we're all clearing and lifting. So they can ask the question, what am I unwilling to receive here? And what do I create meaningful for me that is stopping me from receiving? And what would it be like to receive from everybody without judgment or without any point of view? Key points. Look at what you are not willing to receive in your life. What are you unwilling to receive? What you are unwilling to receive will limit the amount you can have in your life. At the bottom of our problem is always something we are not willing to receive. If you are not happy and contented, look first at what you are unwilling to receive in your life. When your life is not working as well as you would like it, there's always something you are not willing to receive. To have everything, you must be willing to give up everything. You must be willing to lose everything. How many judgments do you have in place to stop you from being able to receive everything and from doing something? Being in total allowance of everything. Total allowance is an endeavor that is available to all leaders all the time. Total allowance is not about aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting to any point of view. Aligning and agreeing is the positive polarity, and resisting and reacting is the negative polarity. All of these are polarized points of view, and none of them are allowance. A positive point of view is as limiting as a negative point of view, if not more so. I will repeat. A positive point of view is as limiting as a negative point of view, if not more so. If leaders are not willing to receive and perceive all energies as only interesting points of view, then they are doing alignment and agreement or resistance and reaction, which creates polarization. Polarized points of view cause leaders to withdraw from full consciousness. The more leaders withdraw from consciousness, the more mass-obsessed leaders become. The more solid, finite, and limited the world becomes for them. There is no freedom in polarity. There is only freedom in interesting points of view. If I was a grade 9 teacher, I would make all my grade 9 students read this book. Everybody should use this book. Allowance will help leaders to free themselves from their limited patterns of behavior, judgment, emotions, thoughts, and feelings. Being an allowance of all things will allow leaders to rise above their present consciousness level. When leaders are being the infinite allowance they truly have and are, nothing will ever bother them. They will never be able to be upset again. Allowance is everything is just an interesting point of view, and our own thoughts are also only interesting points of view. Being in total allowance means every time leaders meet head-on with a strong point of view, they can choose to say, interesting point of view, and be an allowance of it, and don't make it reality. Each time leaders adopt being an allowance of whatever it costs them, they have shifted the consciousness of the world because they have not bought it, they have not resisted it, they have not reacted to it, and they have not made it reality. They have allowed reality to shift and change. It is fundamental to recognize that every opinion or point of view leaders have about anything or anyone that leaders believe to be correct and perfect will stop other things from coming into their life. So if you idolize somebody, you're destroying your life. If you think somebody is so great, they're so great and perfect, you're destroying your life. Okay? Everything leaders judged right or wrong, good or bad, becomes a limitation of who they can really be. Every time leaders create their own thoughts as solid, they have created a limitation on themselves. It limits how much leaders can receive. When leaders catch themselves making judgments or having insane drivel, thoughts or fixed points of view about anything, just repeat to themselves, that's an interesting point of view. Or, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. This statement will release the attachment energy that leaders have on the point of view and free them from it. If leaders would like to be freed from all their unwanted patterns of behavior, thoughts, and feelings, they can repeat, interesting point of view, I have this point of view, for every point of view they have. If leaders can learn to live from an interesting point of view, then they will start to get out of trauma, drama, upset, and intrigue. It isn't what we or others do or say which disturbs our emotions or feelings and destroys our ability to maintain our inner peace. Okay? That's a good one. It's not what other people say that affects you. You choose to be affected. I'm really learning this. I'm so grateful. I've really been using interesting point of view. I have this point of view like a lot. And I'm not having a point of view about all these crazy things that used to bother me so much. It's amazing. My day is so much easier because I'm just going through my day doing things, enjoying myself, rather than being like, all the time. It's really a great tool. He's not joking about interesting point of view. It's really, really one of the biggest keys to freedom. And I asked him, like, Jesus, Gary, how come you give this tool and nobody uses it? He's like, people don't want that much freedom. They just don't have a desire for that much freedom. They will just, the tool will be of no relevance to them because they don't want that. And I was like, okay. Okay. So, now it's on my head. I don't know where I put the...
You are by it isn't what we are.
Oh, thank you. It isn't what we or others do or say which disturbs our emotions or feelings and destroys our ability to maintain our inner peace. It is our judgment of us and others which causes emotional upheaval, such as anger, guilt, anxiety, irritation, and resentment. So basically, like Gary said in the relationship class that he just did in Dublin, it's not, if you, oh, there's Anthony. Hi, Anthony.
Hello.
It's a Conscious Leadership Book Club. Basically,
High conscious leaderships.
high conscious leaderships. Basically, if you have an issue with somebody that you are in a relationship with, that's your problem. It's your problem that you're not an allowance of it. If they mess up the whole kitchen, you can't get mad. You have to clean up the kitchen because you're the one who wants to clean. They obviously don't want to clean. Okay? It's all in your court. Unless, of course, it's abuse. And then in that case, you go, still with total allowance, an interesting point of view. Don't you fucking dare. You do not get to do that to me. Okay? But that's with allowance. That's not, oh my God, I can't take this. Different. Okay? The only way to prevent anger, resentment, hatred, or guilt from occurring in leaders' life is to let go of judgment and be in total allowance of themselves and others. This can be achieved by choosing to be in total allowance of absolutely everything that leaders see in their minds, in their bodies, in their environment, in their circumstances, and in other people. See everything as an interesting point of view. Everything is just an interesting point of view, or what am I making significant here? When leaders are willing to be in total allowance, everything is just an interesting point of view, even all the annoyance, disturbance, and tragedy. When everything is just an interesting point of view, leaders start to create choice. Leaders don't have choice otherwise. I'll finish this part. When leaders are in allowance, they will be able to observe what is going on with other people. Every time leaders are being in allowance, they are able to perceive that the other person is sitting in their own quandary and dilemma, and they don't have to be in reaction to it. Leaders can be in total allowance of the person. When leaders are able to be in allowance of others, they are able to maintain their inner peace. There is absolutely nothing to be achieved by disturbing our inner peace just because somebody does or says something which we don't approve of. To do so is permitting them to control and have power over us. As leaders master being in total allowance, they will be able to see everything as just, it sounded like I said, as leaders masturbating in total allowance. They will be able to see everything as just an interesting point of view, which will free them from all sorts of conflicts. Little bit gray box time. Key points. Just stop buying the other points of view. Life is just a choice. If leaders don't do interesting point of view, they do alignment and agreement or resistance and reaction with the point of view, which locks them up. If leaders learn to live as an interesting point of view, they will get out of drama, trauma, upset, and suffering. The more leaders are able to maintain, it's just an interesting point of view for every point of view, the more leaders are able to receive new opportunities and infinite possibilities. All right, we'll see you all next time, which I believe is tomorrow at this time. So we will see you tomorrow at this time.
Thank you,
Bye.
Lydia.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Bye.